So first of all, thank you for having me over here. As Roy mentioned, I am from Manchester, but I do enjoy being let out of Manchester, and I do enjoy a little road trip. So here I am in Leeds. Thank you for having me. And thank you very much for inviting me to speak, especially on Ada Lovelace Day, which is very momentous for me, and I'm sure a few other people here as well. So, I wanted to tell you just a little bit about me. Roy'd already kind of started that off, but I work for ThoughtWorks. My background is I've been working in tech for quite a while, but predominantly in recruitment or marketing, events, that sort of thing. My earlier path was, I guess, slightly unorthodox. So my background is in performing arts and media studies. That's what I studied right the way up to university. And then I graduated, and then I fell into recruitment. I'm yet to meet anyone that says, when I grow up, I want to be a recruiter. So I fell into that, like many people do. Started working for agencies, and also I worked for the Cooperative Group for some time, recruiting into their IT team there. And then I went to ThoughtWorks, and it was really the role at ThoughtWorks that I found changed me as a person and made me a lot more aware about some of the kind of challenges around the lack of diversity and inclusivity in the tech industry as a whole. So it was at ThoughtWorks that I started getting very fired up and very passionate about women in technology as one of many kind of topics that I feel quite strongly about. And it was at ThoughtWorks that I started putting myself out and talking at conferences. The first one I did was 2.5 years ago. It was a Microsoft developer conference. I am not a developer. I know nothing about that, so that was a bit weird. But that was where that started, and I've spoken at Scott Ruby, which is a Ruby developer conference. I've presented awards at the National Diversity Awards, and I've spoken at events at Sky and BBC since. So it's been quite a journey over the last 3.5 years, but one that I've found very challenging, but really rewarding. So hopefully today I'll be able to just talk to you about some of my observations of spending the last sort of 10 years in the industry in various forms. So it was when I was at ThoughtWorks that, when I joined ThoughtWorks, that's when I became aware of Ada Lovelace. So for anyone who doesn't know who Ada Lovelace is, so she was a mathematician. She was born in the 1800s. In fact, this year is the 200th anniversary of Ada's birth. So it's a big one. Woo. And she is often referred to as the first computer programmer because of the work that she did with Charles Babbage's computer. But for me, it's more about what she represents. I think for me, Ada Lovelace is a reminder that no matter how unorthodox or impossible your aspirations seem to be, it's achievable. You know, she did it, and I think there's something in there that should spur us all on to know that we can achieve those things too. So Ada Lovelace Day happens every October, and it's an opportunity for us to celebrate the achievements and successes of women in STEM, so science, technology, engineering and maths. Yes, go Ada, we like Ada. So why is this important? So this is kind of what the tech landscape roughly looks like, give or take. So you've got some big players there, and we're just looking at gender diversity here, given the nature of Ada Lovelace Day and everything. I think across the industry, we have a long, long way to go. I think some organisations are doing really well. My advice to anyone who's looking to start, to kind of begin their own startup or anything like that, think about this stuff from day one and bake it into absolutely everything. Don't just hire all your mates and have all white men and all developers, woo, because it just gets harder and then you're on the back foot. So think about diversity throughout everything from day one. So we've got a long way to go. I'm really proud that ThoughtWorks are leading the way. When we say tech jobs, the way that we report on that is what we call professional services. So that's anyone from user experience, project management, business analyst, developer, DevOps, QA, that sort of thing. So yeah, it's okay, but it needs to be a lot better. So what I wanted to do for the purpose of today, I want to share this with you. So this is something that was developed by one of my colleagues, a lady called Rachel Laycock, who has been with ThoughtWorks for some time, and she's currently head of technology in our New York office. And what she did was she looked at her life and she looked at all of the points that she felt like she didn't want to do it anymore, or you know, this wasn't the industry for her, she shouldn't be in technology, and she should maybe look to do something else. So you can see all the career timeline is the top, and the themes down at the bottom. So you can see pre-career talking about all of your education, during your career talking about from joining an organisation as a graduate right up to your mid and late career, and then post-career as well. And you can see all of the different themes that play into every part of that journey. So from the early pre-career, you've got your grassroots programmes, and you're obviously highly influenced by things, by what your parents tell you, or your teachers tell you, or what you see on the telly, or anything like that. And then you can see all of the things that matter throughout somebody's career. And I think this is actually relevant to a lot of people. I don't think this is just specific to women. I think this could possibly resonate a lot with people in general. So I just wanted to use that to set the scene, and I can share this with you afterwards. So what I want to do is I want to focus on each part of that and look at some of the things that we, as people working in the industry, can do to hopefully try and support people who are on this journey, and hopefully try and encourage more inclusivity and diversity, encourage people towards our industry, because it's amazing, but also look at how we can upskill people and how we can plug those skills shortages that all of us probably experience in some way, shape or form. So, I think there's a couple of really big barriers, I think, to young people when they're considering what their career might look like. For me, one of those is the misconceptions that are associated with a particular industry or a particular job that they get from what they see on the telly or something like that. And the second thing is, actually, if they feel strongly that they like science or something similar, and then other people think, well, that's weird, why do you like science? You're a girl, you should like drama, which coincidentally is what I did like. But anyway, so I think there's two things that can make getting into an IT career quite challenging for young generations. I don't know how this is going to go down, but I'm going to try it. So I found this was quite interesting. A kind of organisation aimed at helping young girls get into technology asked some young girls what they thought someone who worked in IT looked like. And they drew, I think you know where this is going. Oh, uh-oh. I don't know if you can see this, but I'll read it to you. What does a person in IT look like? He would be old and his hair would be overgrown because he doesn't care what he looks like. He only cares about computers. And this is by a 10-year-old girl. I think that probably speaks for itself. And this is another example as well. IT equals suits equals boring. And this is a year 10 student, 15 years old. So I think already there's, whether these are justified or not, I'll let you make that call. But I think already there are barriers to people. This isn't just from a gender diversity thing. If you assume that everybody in that industry is like that and that isn't like you, then that can make it very, very difficult for you to see a future for yourself in that particular role or that industry. But there are some things that we can do about this, which is good. So, one of the things that I really, really like, and I know there's a lady in the audience, Linda, who's involved in this, is Code Club. How many people know Code Club? That's good, a lot of hands, so that's good. So I won't go on too much about Code Club, but essentially it's set up to help teach children how to code. What ages is it, 8 to 10? 9 to 11, okay. So this is a really good opportunity for us to, first of all, inspire other people and just engage with people and show them what can be done with technology and get them engaged and bought in from a young age. But secondly, there's been some really interesting statistics from people that I've known who've run these workshops that say sometimes 50-50, there's a 50-50 split between boys and girls that come along, and some of them have said that they found that girls actually engage more with it and tend to stick around more. That might be different from region to region, and I'm sure, Linda, you've probably got some stats on that, but I think it's a really interesting way to get in at a very young age to sort of say, you can do this too, before there's any sort of, oh, it's just for boys and da-da-da-da. Yeah, so this is a really great thing to do. There's also something called Code Club Pro. Does anyone know about that? Yeah, you're cheating, Linda, you would know. So Code Club Pro, and I hope I've got this right, is basically training the teachers. So one of my colleagues at the moment at ThoughtWorks, he runs a code club, which he's been doing for some time now, and it's just because he cares and he wants to help other people and he wants to kind of pay it back and pass it on, for want of a better phrase. He's now looking to try and do Code Club Pro, which is literally giving the teachers the skills and the knowledge to be able to carry that on. So there isn't the need for software developers or IT professionals to do all of it. The teachers will have the skills to be able to do it themselves as well. So I think, you know, if you want to give something back, think about things like this. There are so many ways, there's so many organisations and not-for-profits that you can volunteer for. Obviously, you need to have time and you need to be committed to it, because especially these children really, really need that sort of stability. But definitely look into it, because it's so valuable for just sort of sharing that knowledge and getting people bought in. Another example actually of that is Code First Girls. Has anyone heard of Code First Girls? So they tend to be bigger down in London. We've just started doing stuff with them in Manchester. But essentially they provide free coding classes to girls at universities. Now, I would need to look at this. I don't think you have to be doing a technology related topic to do it. I think if you want to get into coding, then this is the organisation that does that. And we've seen such a fantastic uptake. In London, we've got 45 students booked in, all female, to come to our office on the 26th of October to just have a training course on how to write code. So there's definitely the appetite there. We just need to work out how we can engage with these people and how we can continue to retain them throughout their career as well. Again, they need volunteers, so get involved. STEMETS, this is probably the last sort of organisation that I'm going to talk about. So STEMETS, again, bigger in London. We did an event with them last year in Manchester that was like their northern launch. So STEMETS, their goal is to bridge the gap between education and industry. So they think, oh, it's great, you know, you go to uni and you learn about computer science and da-da-da. But actually, is education equipping people with the skills needed to then go into industry and make a success out of themselves? So we've done work with STEMETS before to just provide an opportunity, showcase some role models and stuff like that. Again, get involved, it's amazing. And I just wanted to finish off this pre-career thing with an example of an individual who I am completely blown away by. And she is an amazing example of how all of these grassroots things can really help to kind of build someone up and help them with the confidence and stuff. So this is a lady, this is Amy Mather. So Amy is now 16, but I think I first met her when she was maybe 13, we'll say 13. I met her through Manchester Girl Geeks that does regular meetups in Manchester. And she spoke at a bar camp, and literally the whole room was just like, because she was amazing, she was so confident, she was just like, and she knew her stuff as well. And it was amazing. And I ended up catching up with her mum, and her mum told me that Amy had always had really, really good skills in, I think it was science and maths. And then she started going to Manchester Girl Geeks because all of her other female friends were kind of a bit nasty to her because they didn't like what she liked. And then her mum was like, we'll find people like you who accept you and they'll celebrate you for what you are. And she started taking Amy along to Manchester Girl Geeks. And honestly, to see how that has helped her to realise that actually she wasn't weird and she just really enjoyed doing these things and that was totally okay. She's now, I think she won an award, I wrote it down, I think she is now the European Digital Girl of the Year. And she's 16. Do you know what I mean? And this is her, I mean, I've never given a talk anywhere like that. I'd be absolutely terrified. It's bad enough doing this. So I think, that's an example of where if we can help support and mentor and provide role models for people like this, we will see in time that the whole underrepresentation of women in technology will hopefully be less of an issue because of people like this. But we all play a part in that. So now I just want to talk about the career part. And for me, there's three main parts in a person's career that will help them on their journey. And these are really, really important. The first one is role models. So I think I can relate to this from a gender diversity perspective, but I think actually there's relevancy across. I hear time and time again that people are, I haven't got anyone to look up to, I haven't got any role models, I can't relate to anyone, I don't see anyone like me, speaking at conferences and stuff like that. So this for me is so, so important. And that's why I wanted to start speaking at conferences, not because I identify myself as a role model, because I really, really don't, but if by me speaking to some people, if one person in this room then decides to go to Code Club or go and speak at a user group or something like that, then that's kind of good enough for me, because I think we need to push ourselves outside of our comfort zone sometimes to help other people. And that's what I've been doing for about 2 years now, so yeah. Don't underestimate the power of the community. So, Agile Yorkshire is an established community. In Manchester, we've got Manchester Girl Geeks, we've got Ladies Who Code, who I'm also a co-organiser for as well. And these are all really, really important groups because it helps you to learn and it gives you some food for thought outside of your normal job, and it gives you a network as well. So for me, this terrible picture, I apologise, but we ran a Women in Leadership event in our Manchester office last night. We're doing the same one again tonight in London. And that was amazing. The energy in the room by just getting a load of women together. And the whole point of that event was to celebrate our successes. We had someone who was from our leadership development programme sit down with people and say, here's ways that you can realise how amazing some of the stuff that you've done, because we're all so quick to go, oh, well, I just did that thing, or very self-deprecating. So let's not do that. Let's use our community, let's use our network, and let's go to these things and celebrate what we do. And the third one on this one is personal development and leadership. So there's a few things that I think that I would suggest people can do around this. If you haven't got kind of a personal development or leadership option at your company, there's a few things that you can do. And I'm stealing this from a colleague from last night. Oops. So one of them is learn about yourself. So take time to reflect on yourself and think about how you're going to handle things differently and pass that on to other people. So help other people to recognise their own potential as leaders as well. So you might be able to do personal retrospectives. So you can try and do them once a quarter, just kind of reflecting back on yourself. You've probably all used to doing that in your projects and stuff like that, but do it for yourself. One lady last night really recommended having a coach to just help them on their own journey as well. And again, this isn't a gender thing, this isn't a diversity thing. Probably a lot of people could really benefit from a coach or a mentor or something like that. So get one and be one to someone else. We did a really, really great programme recently where we helped mentor people from Manchester Uni. It was amazing because it was just little things like helping them know how to write a CV and stuff like that. But it's knowledge that we have and we take for granted, but someone else could really benefit from. And as I said before, we need to celebrate our successes, and this comes into everything. We really need to make sure that we're not self-deprecating and that we recognise what we've done and we help other people recognise what they've done as well. And we shouldn't see that as a bad thing, because it's not. So, why should these things matter? Royd said it. Innovation and creativity, teamwork and productivity, learning and personal development, recruitment, retention, and reputation. Diversity and inclusivity helps with all of those things, and it is proven. If you lack diversity in your workforce, people will leave, people will not be happy, people will not be challenged, and people won't have, there's not going to be range of kind of perspectives that you want to feel challenged and feel like you're delivering the very best that you can do. So this is fact. This is fact. So everybody, whether you're a graduate who's just looking to join the industry, or whether you are, or whether you're a founder of a startup, this matters. Every single thing there. So I'm wrapping up now with what we can do, and these are my takeaways. So we need to change the image of IT. Let's promote ourselves. If we get ourselves out there, then people will start to see that actually those drawings and the people on the IT crowd or whatever programs people are watching, it's not actually like that. People don't sit in a dark room in a basement anymore with a computer. People are in the business. People are working in an agile way. So, you know, we need to change that perception. Have schools or colleges or universities come in and spend the day in your office and just have a look around and see what it's actually like, because it really makes the difference. Get involved, educate, inspire and engage. I think I'm of the belief that if we recognise that there is a challenge and that there is an issue in the industry, if you're not part of the solution, then you're part of the problem. We have to be accountable for the role that we play, whether that's mentoring someone or volunteering or speaking to our managers to just say, hey, why don't we get this school in? That would be quite cool, whatever. Every little thing can help on that journey. Think about the challenges faced by minority groups. I think there's so many small, nuanced things. So assuming that a woman would want to reduce her hours because she has a family, don't assume. She might not. Let her make the decision on whether or not she wants to do that and whether that's right for her. Little things like that. And push yourself to go outside your comfort zone. I can't recommend that enough. And it's the most terrifying thing to do. But until you do it, you're not really helping anyone. And you'll feel better when you do it, because you'll smash it and you'll do a good job and it'll be amazing. So they're my sort of takeaways from everything that we've spoken about, of things that everybody in this room can do to whatever degree they choose to do from tomorrow. Just think about it. That's all we can do, and that's why it's up to us. Thank you very much.